Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. More screens to you. It's your girl Angela Aaron, and I am back with another video. So, you guys, today we're diving back into my book, Kendrick Lamar Imagines, and this Imagine is called These Walls. It stars Kendrick Lamar as himself, Doechii as Angela, and Samuel L. Jackson as Dennis. Now, before we get started, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit that notification button, hit that like, and comment your thoughts down below. Oh, and if you guys hear background noises, it's the wind and the rain. So please excuse me and the noises. Hopefully I can maybe add some music and tone that out. But anyways, I'm going to be looking down a couple times because I have my notes. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. And this is just a summed up version. I tried to sum this Imagine up the best that I could because I don't have all day. All right, so let's get into it. So the story starts off with Kendrick Lamar buying a house. So the story starts off with Kendrick and his wife Angela buying a house in New Orleans, Louisiana, by a lake. On the way there, they're not really speaking to each other because they're having some marital problems. And so Angela mentions that, you buying a house is not going to fix our problems. And she's like, I know, I'm trying. Just give it a chance. I'm trying something new. I feel like we need a new start. So let's just try, okay? So they get to the house and Angela is loving the look of the house. She is in love with it. So she's like kind of melting away, like, okay, I like it, but we still got some problems. And by the way, I invited our marriage counselor, so our sessions will continue. So he said, all right, cool. I got no problem with that. I don't know why you trying to throw that in my face. All right, whatever. So Blue, their marriage counselor, gets there, and Angela mentions that he bought this house without talking to her about it first. And so Kendrick rolling his eyes like, look, we already talked about this. You already complained about it. I said I was sorry. What more do you want from me? And so Angel goes, see, this is what I'm dealing with. And so Blue says, okay, Kendrick, I want you to really hear what she's saying. I think you're missing the point here. You need to be more considerate of Angela's feelings, okay? Whether those decisions are big or small, consider how she may feel first before you make a decision. Don't be so impulsive. And Kendrick says, are you saying I'm selfish? Blue says, no. Listen to me, Kendrick. I said don't be impulsive, not selfish. And so Blue, she also has some advice for Angela. She said, I want you to get more comfortable with expressing your feelings when you're having these conversations with Kendrick. I've noticed over our last few sessions, you tend to hold back. There is a way to express yourself without being disrespectful or coming off as if only your point matters. Okay? So she says, all right, fine. I'll try. And so after the session, Kendrick and Angela continue to talk a little bit. Kendrick apologizes again for making the impulsive purchase, like buying a whole house, which is crazy. Um, and she says, after he apologizes, Angela says, I don't want a man to silence me. I want a man who rules with me in silence. So Kendrick's like, I love it when you talk like that. So she's like, whatever. And so he starts kissing up on her neck, trying to get something started. He's like, oh my God. You know, that's not going to solve nothing. You know that, right? He's like, yeah, I know, but I'm going to try. She's like, jeez Christ. And so their dog, more Angela's dog, Ali, who is a cute, beautiful little gray pit bull, comes up and licks on Kendrick's ankle. He's like, man, what's up with your dog? He's always on me like that. He was trying to hunt me. Get him. And so Angela picks up her dog, Ali, and she's like, "You better not kick my dog. You know it's my baby." So later on, Kendrick get a call from the nursing home in which Dennis is living in. Now, Dennis is Kendrick Lamar's father. Okay. So he gets a call from the manager there. So he's like, oh, he assumes that it's an issue. So he's like, if it's about a payment, I've already paid y'all. She said, no, it's not about payment. We received your payment, but I have another issue I need to talk to you about. Ken's like, all right, well, what's going on? Is he all right? And she said, your father's dementia is getting worse. He is being more aggressive. He's being more incontinence is getting worse. He even threw hot soup on one of our nurses. He can't be here no more. And Keisha goes, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I'm paying y'all to take care of my father. Do your job. And the manager gets mad. She's like, look, we are doing everything that we can, but his level of care is beyond what we can provide. This is an independent nursing home, okay? Now, I'm giving him a week's notice for an eviction, but it's going to be your responsibility to come and get him out of here. And he's like, are you serious? Good day. And she hangs up. So while Kendrick's on the phone, there's a knock at the door. So Angela goes and answers the door. And it's an old white woman. She's standing on the front porch. And the old woman introduced herself. She says, I'm May Lemon. You live here? Angela says, yes, I just moved here. Are you my neighbor? And May's looking around like, fortunately. And so Angela offered to invite her in to meet Kendrick. And so May says, no thanks, but I suggest you and your husband to leave. Angela goes, excuse me? Do you have a problem with black people? And so May didn't say nothing back. She just walked off. So the next day, Kendrick comes back home from work. Angela tells Kendrick about May, the woman that she met the other day. And so he's just kind of brushing off like, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. White people are going to be racist, whatever, whoop-de-doo. And Kendrick tells Angela that Dennis is getting evicted. So Angela's like, what? What are you going to do? I mean, what are we going to do? And so Kendrick's like, I think he should move in with us. Angela said, wait, hold up. What? Wait, she's giving you a week to move him out, and then we're supposed to just take him right in? And he's like, well, what else we gonna do? He just also mentions that it's gonna take a few months before we get him into another facility. So he needs to be somewhere in the meantime. Angela said, look, I understand that's your dad, and I understand that you love him. I get it. Really, I do. But we are not nurses. We don't know what it takes to take care of somebody with an illness like that. And he's like, look, babe, I know this is a lot going on. We just got here. We're working on our marriage. It's a lot. I get it. But please, we need to come together, man. I miss how close we used to be. We're not as close as we used to be. And this could be an opportunity to mend my relationship with my father. He said, please? And just like, yeah, I guess. I do miss him. But he's just not the same person he used to be. I hope you understand what you're getting yourself into. And you said, I hope so too. So later that night, Kendrick and Angela make love. And I'm not going to go into the details, like the exact details, but if you want the uncensored version of how it went down, go to webpad.com/purpleangel87. I will have a link in my description, okay? So I'm just going to kind of wrap it up because I don't want to say stuff that might make YouTube flag me, strike me, or whatever. So I'm just trying to be conscious of that, okay? But I'll give as much detail as I can without going too far or getting in trouble with YouTube. Okay. So while Kendrick is south, a dark, skinny, wrinkly hand comes up and touches Angela's chest. And Angela kind of jumps up because like she feels it, but she didn't see it. And so the hand just whoosh went right underneath the covers. And she looks down and she just like, okay, I must be tripping. Focus, Angela. Focus on what's going on right now. So she gets back into it. She's feeling good. She's like, it's feeling good, you know. And then she gets curious. She's like, where did that hand go? So she didn't look. She kind of glances down, but she puts her hand just under the cover. And as she reaching for Kendrick's head, she puts her hand on Kendrick's head and the head is bald headed. Angela jumped back and screamed so hard, and she's like getting ready to jump out the bed. Kendrick stops and he's like, whoa, 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 what's wrong? What happened? Did I hurt you? What? Like Kendrick is panicking because he don't know what happened. And so she was like, you were bold. Like she's breathing hard, she's panicking, she's scared. And Kendrick's like, wait, what? Babe, I got dreadlocks. You see the dreadlocks, right? She was like, what the heck was that? And so he tries to keep a straight face because he sees she's really scared and worked up. And Kendrick's like, well, maybe you didn't touch my head. Maybe you touched your knee because I did have your legs up. So maybe you just touched your knee and you thought it was my head. And she said, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't play with me. So he's like, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look, I ain't gonna let nobody hurt you. You good? He started trying to calm her down. He starts kissing up on her neck again. He's like, I love you. We gonna be all right. Just calm down. And so she tells him that she loves him and she continues making love. But little do they know, while they continue to do their thing, there's a dark, skinny, slender shadow in the doorway watching them. Yeah. So the next day, Kendrick and Angela goes to the nursing home to pick up Dennis and to move his things into a U-Haul. And so Dennis is mad at Kendrick because he don't want to leave. But he's being evicted, so it ain't like he got a choice. And Angela softly asks Dennis, she goes, oh, you don't want to live with me? And Dennis said, oh, of course I do. She's like, okay, then would you please get in the car so we can finish moving you? And he goes, yeah, of course, baby. You know I love you, baby. She's like, okay, thank you. So Dennis did not get in the car. He leaned up against the car. And Kendrick saw him while he was bringing his clothes out. And Kendrick's like, Dad, please, get in the car. And so, Dennis snaps back and says, it's your fault I'm in this situation. If your mama was still alive. And he said, well, she's not. Get in the car. And so Angela was like, Dennis, remember you promised me you was going to get back in the car? I promised to sit with you. So Dennis said, okay, that's all you had to say, baby. See, I listen to beautiful people, not ugly people. And he pointed at Kendrick when he said ugly people. And just like, let's just get this over with, please. Let's just go. And so, as they're driving to the new home, Dennis is like, son, where you going? You live that way. And then said, no, I don't live in the city no more. I moved. And then it's like, when did you move? Kendrick's like, Dad, we had a conversation. I told you about this. He's like, you did? Then it's like, oh my God. And so Dennis is feeling bad because he's realizing he's forgetful. His dementia is at a different level than, it's getting worse. So once they got to the house, Dennis is refusing now to get out of the car. And so Kendrick gets out of the car. He's like, Angela, can you please get Dennis in the house? I can't do this right now. And he just walks off, leaving Angela to deal with Dennis. And so she keeps trying to sweet talk him out of the car. And this time it ain't working. So Angela then snaps off. She's like, Dennis, get up and get in the house now. And so Dennis got out the car all slow and sad like a little child with his head down and had his lip poking out. I was like, you didn't have to yell at me. And she's like, Jesus Christ, what is going on around here? We ain't even got in the house yet and he's acting this. Okay. So everybody's all stressed out and just on edge. So later on that night, Angela and Kendrick are trying to help him into bed. Dennis is fussing. He's like, I'm a grown man. I don't need nobody help. I can do it myself. And then when they step back, this man slipped and fell on the floor. Just for them to turn around and be like, Dennis, let us help you into the bed. He's like, all right, fine. Thank God y'all got carpeted floors. They're just like, Jesus Christ. So the next day, Dennis complained about noises that he heard coming from the basement. Kendrick and Angela was like in denial. They didn't hear anything, so they're just like, oh, he must be having an episode or whatever. And so Kendrick and Angela checked the basement, and they didn't see anything strange out of the ordinary, so they just chalked it up that he's just having a moment where he's just not in touch with reality. And Dennis became more irritated with being told, well, he was getting irritated with just Kendrick and Angela, period. And so he notices May watching them. So Dennis goes over to May's house. And so Dennis tried to introduce himself. And May sarcastically says, congratulations, you live in a haunted house. And closed the door in Dennis's face. And Dennis goes, haunted? B, you better open this door. So he bangs on her door. And so Angela ran over and stopped Dennis from banging on her door and was like, what are you doing? Man, get over here, man. It's always something, man. Come on. And so Dennis like, May said the house is haunted. We got to get up out of here, man. We got to get out of here. What are we going to do? Like, Dennis starting to panic. He's getting worse. And so Angela's trying to calm him down. And then he runs back to the house. And so Angela runs after Dennis. Dennis runs into the backyard. And he almost runs into a tree. And he looked up at the tree and he saw a black woman, dead body hung from the tree. And he is screaming at the top of his lungs. And Angela's looking around like, what is it? What? He's like, you don't see that? And Angela's like, no, I don't see anything. It's just a tree. Dennis, please, just go in the house. So later on that day, when Kendrick came home from work, Angela pulled Kendrick to the side to have a conversation about what happened earlier with Dennis. And Angela tells him that he's going off the rails. He's hallucinating. I think he might need an increase in his meds. And Kendrick's like, I really don't want to drug up my dad, man. I don't know if the medication's even helping him. And Angela said, will you at least talk to his doctor and get a second opinion or something? See what you can do. And he's like, all right, I'll talk to him, okay? She's like, all right. And so they go to Dennis' bedroom to talk to him about possibly having to take more meds. But Dennis isn't in his room. They look they looking around the house and they found him in the backyard. Dennis was holding Ali, the dog, up to that same tree he saw a slave being hung from. And he said, "Just, will you take this? Please take it. Just leave us alone, please." So Kendrick's like, "Dad, who are you talking to?" And he looked back at Kendrick and didn't say anything. And then Ansel walked over to Dennis and said, "Give me my dog." Poor baby. Like, "You okay, Ali? You okay?" So she's sweet talking to the dog. And he just simply goes, "I'm hungry. I want to eat." And he just walks past them. Ansel says, See what I'm talking about? He's been acting like that since he got here. You need to take care of this and you need to do it now. And he's like, "Okay, I'll talk to his doctor." Jeez. So in a couple of days, Kendrick and Dennis go to see his doctor, and Kendrick explains all the stuff that's been going on, all the stuff that Angela reported to him, and the doctor really didn't see anything wrong. He just felt like he was just having maybe an episode or two due to his increase in symptoms of his dementia. So, however, he did agree to increase his medication. And Kendrick asked Dennis if he was okay with that. He was just like, "Do what you're going to do, doctor. Do what you're going to do." And so on the way back home, Dennis was talking more. He was more active. They were really bonding, having a great conversation, and they just seemed to be in a good space. So when they got back home, Dennis was playfully chasing Ali around the house. And Dennis followed Ali into the basement. So when he found Ali, he picked him up and petted him, and he was smiling and just really having fun. But then the TV in the basement turned on by itself. And Dennis just couldn't seem to turn himself away from it. So he kept staring at the static screen. And he put the dog down. The dog ran off. And he heard a voice chanting in the TV saying, "Sacrifice Ali, sacrifice Ali, sacrifice Ali." And the more he stared, his eyes turned fully black. So while all this is happening, Kendrick goes over to May's and introduced himself. And so he knocked on the door, and when May answered, she said, "Had enough?" Kendrick goes, "Enough for what? What are you talking about?" She said, "Enough of that house. I take it you didn't do your research on that house, because if you did, you would have never moved in the first place." And he's like, "I don't understand. What do you mean by that?" And she said, "Nobody ever survives that house." And he's like, "Is that why my dad is freaking out about the house? What do you know, May?" And so May says, "Sit down, have a seat." So they sit on the porch, and May gives a rundown of what happened in that house. So in the 1800s, a slave master raised his family on the land. The slave master there had 20 slaves total. And the slaves consisted of children, adults, and even elderly. But when slavery was abolished, the slave master went crazy. He went off. He killed all his slaves all over the house, including his own family. And the murders were so horrific to the point where other slave masters came and killed him. She went through her photo album and she showed an old photo of to Kendrick. And he looked at it, he's like, and he's looking at the pictures like, wow, this is amazing. Who are these people? And May said, your wife might be an ancestor to one of the slaves who lived in that house. And she pulled out a picture and handed it to him. He said, oh my God, she looks just like my wife, Angela. Crazy thing is, my wife thinks you hate her. But I think I get it now. And May said, you have got to get your family out that house now. And as soon as May said that, there was a huge scream heard across the lake. Kendrick ran towards the lake and he saw Angela and Dennis fighting in the water. And Dennis, he was holding Ali underwater. And so Kendrick managed to get Angela off of Dennis, but he can't see what Dennis is doing. And so by the time he gets Angela off of him, he's like, stop, what are y'all doing? Y'all crazy? And so she looked to her side and Ali's dead body floated up next to her. She was like, no! Like she just went off. And Kendrick was about to throw up. He said, oh my God. And so Kendrick went off on Dennis. He was just like, get in the house now. So he's pushing him, he's pulling him. And he's like, what happened? Why am I out here? It's cold. Like he has no idea what just happened. And Angela grabbed the dog and ran in the house crying. And so Dennis went, Kendrick put Dennis in the basement and locked him in the basement. And so he went to Angela, and Angela is sitting on the floor holding Ali, just rocking him like this. And she's trying to like control her crying, but she's like panicking. And so Kendrick's like, Angela, give me the dog. No! She's like, no, don't you touch him. Don't you dare touch him. He said, Angela, he's dead. Ali is gone. You got to give him to me. And so he finally managed to take the dog away from her. And she just broke down crying. And he hugged her and said, everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. So the next day, Ali was cremated and they had a little ceremony at the house. Angela fell into a deep depression. And she she didn't lock herself in, but she just went to her room and refused to leave. And she refused to let anybody in. And so Kendrick, he went ahead and went to work. He was calling in, constantly checking in on her. She would just simply be like, I'm fine. Stop calling. Leave me alone. Bye. Like she wouldn't even say I love you or nothing. She was totally checked out. So Dennis went to Angela's room and he apologized for what happened. Angela was sitting on the floor smoking a cigarette. She was like, go away, Dennis. Dennis said, can I come in? I just want to talk. She was like, go away. And she like punched the door and said, go away. So Dennis apologized again. And he said, I didn't mean for all this to happen. I'm so sorry. Would you please let me in so we can talk? Angela leaned on the door and said, did you kill Ali on purpose? Dennis said, no. I don't even remember doing that. And he apologized again. And she didn't say nothing. She was just sitting there smoking. And then he said, I just want you to know that you've been really good to me and my son, and I'm grateful to have a daughter-in-law like you. And so she opened the door. She said, you mean that? Sorry about that interruption, call or text. Anyway, so she said, you mean that? He said, yeah. So Angela breaks down crying again. She gives him a hug. And Dennis starts feeling very emotional. And he says, I don't want to die here, Angela. Help me to get Kendrick to let us, leave. Like, I don't want to stay here no more. So she said, I'll try. So when Kendrick came home, Angela and Dennis were sitting on the porch. And Angela was still smoking. Kendrick was like, what are y'all doing outside? Angela said, we do better when we're outside. Kendrick was like, okay, I don't know what all this is about, but I've had a long day. I'm going to go in the house and take a shower. And Angela says the shower head is broke, so you're going to have to take a bath. Kendrick's like, are you serious? Oh my God. So Kendrick's already irritated. He got an attitude. So he goes and he fills the tub with hot water. And once he gets in the tub, the water cools off. He's like, what the? Are y'all serious? Like, what? Why can't anything just go right around here? So he goes and he turns the hot water knob, and he noticed some blood starts dripping out. He's like, what the? And so as he's staring at the blood drip, there's a hand that's creeping up behind him. And it's a black, wrinkly, same type of hand that grabbed at Angela earlier. So he grabbed at Kendrick in the back of the head and just yanked him back into the tub. And so Kendrick is fighting for his life trying to get up out of there. And so he basically throws his own body out of the tub because he's basically being attacked. Like they're trying to, whatever it is, trying to drown him. And so he looks at the tub and he sees some black slaves reaching out to him with like melting face, like their face is just melting. You see the skin and the flesh. It's awful. And so he screams, he gets up and he runs down the hall completely naked into the bedroom. And Angela and Dennis catches a glimpse of him just running out, everything out in the open, booty meat everywhere. And so Angela runs after him and she's like, are you okay? And he's just like, we're getting up out of here right now. So they pack their bags and they leave the house. So as they're driving along, Angela and Kendrick are holding hands. They're not saying nothing. But Kendrick's in the driver's seat, Angela's in the passenger, and Dennis is in the back. So as they're driving, Dennis's eyes turn black. He's possessed once again. And he grabs the back of Angela's hair and just yanks her head back, but pulls her whole body into the back seat. And so Angela is screaming and freaking out, trying to fight back. And Kendrick is driving, but he's trying to stop the fight. And so he's trying to drive and stop the fight at the same time. Kendrick drives off the road and bam, hits a tree. And so when Kendrick got up, there was blood on his face. And his eyes were black. He looked over at Angela. And he woke her up to make sure she was okay. Angela looked up at him. Her eyes were full black too. So now, Angela and Kendrick are now both possessed by the same evilness that possessed Dennis. So instead of kissing her, he licks the blood off her face. And he picks her up and helps her up out the car. Now, as soon as he helps her out the car, Dennis, he's like, help, help. Like he starts panicking because he's stuck in the back seat of the car. And Angela and Kendrick hold hands again. They're just staring at Dennis, watching him struggle, try to get out the car. And so he's like, what is that? I smell smoke. Help me. Son, help me, please. And so the flames start sparking up on the car. And they're just staring, just tilting their head all the way to the side like that, just watching. And he's like, why are you just staring at me? Help. And so they literally stand there and watch until the car blows up with Dennis in it. So, hand in hand, Kendrick and Angela walk back to the house as if that car crash didn't just happen. And so Angela and Kendrick, once they make it inside the house, they both get a container of gasoline, and they're pouring it throughout the house. Every room in the house, they're covering it in all the gasoline they can. And then they come back to the doorway. They light a match, toss it. House is burning on fire, and they're just looking at each other and smiling, and they're just hugging each other like it's a warm embrace. And they stay in the house as the house burns down with them in it. So May sees the fire and calls the police and the fire department. So there's a police crew there, fire department, news. It's a lot going on at the scene. And two firefighters say, man, they should have burned this place down a long time ago. And he's like, what do you think they're going to do with the land now? And the other firefighter's like, probably just build some apartments. And so May runs over to the house and she sees the coroner. They're like carrying two body bags out. So she's just like, oh my God, they didn't make it. And she looks back at the house and she sees Kendrick and Angela's spirit standing in where the door would have been, or was, and they're just smiling like this, looking crazy. And May is screaming at the top of her lungs, just horrifically screaming, no! And so the officer's trying to calm her down, but she's just steady screaming. And that is the end of the story. So that was These Walls, which is a short story in my book, Kendrick Lamar Imagines. Did you like the story? Did you not like the story? What about the characters? Did you like Kendrick? Did you like Angela? Did you like Dennis? Comment your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. I really do appreciate the feedback. It helps me a lot. If you want the full uncensored version, you can go to wattpad.com/purpleangel87, and that's WATTPAD, and Purple Angel is spelled the normal way. There's no unique way I spelled it, okay? So I hope you guys like this format, and again, excuse the rain and winds going on in the background. I can only do so much. I am working with what I got, okay? So I will see you guys next time. And as always, much love.